Hello, we're Luke and Matt. We're pastors at Village Church Chicago, and welcome to 10 Minutes That Make a Difference, where we take 10 minutes to discuss topics of where faith and life intersect. And this week, we're talking about binge entertainment, about what are the effects that it has on us and why we're so drawn to it. And binge entertainment, whether that's a streaming service like Hulu or Netflix, or YouTube, or we can also binge on blogs, and even video games and social media. So I want to get into that topic today. And the real question at hand, Matt, is what's the last thing you binged on?
Well, I don't have to go too far back to think of the last time I binged, which was last night. I was binging a game that I play on my iPad. It's like a first-person shooter type game, and man, it is so addicting. I can just play it for hours and then still want to play more and have no clue where the time has gone. So yeah, that's the last thing I binged was this game that I play where it's you never really, like, you can level up kind of, but there's no real end other than just an end of the match, and so you kind of just want to keep playing it and playing it. What about you, Luke? What was the last thing you binged?
Oh man, I've started watching, I'm a sci-fi junkie, and so I've started watching Battlestar Galactica, and I'm just flying through this entire television series, and it's just, I've spent way too many hours just hitting next episode. So I even just last night, I think I watched just two episodes. I stopped, but so, binging and binge entertainment is weird because, like, I remember, like, it wasn't too long ago when I would hear the word binge, it was only in, like, a negative context, talking about sort of a negative amount of doing something. But recently I've noticed in advertising for different streaming services and things like that it's kind of a selling point, like, come get our service and binge what we have. It's kind of advertised as a good thing. And we begin to use it more in our common vernacular to describe different activities that we were doing on, like, the weekends or when we're resting, and things like that. And so it's kind of an interesting thing. And I think it's something that we're interacting with more as a larger culture. So Matt, why is it that we're binging? Like, why do you think this is something that we're having and there's a demand for even?
Well, even as you left, like, you just left for lunch, and my lunch was already here right at WeWork. So as I was waiting to eat, I thought, man, what am I going to do with my time? I think there's just this desire to fill every moment. And so I thought, should I start a new audiobook? Should I, read a blog? But, like, there's just this desire to fill every moment we have with knowledge or wisdom or just entertainment. And I think there's this fear of just being alone with ourselves or alone with our thoughts that we almost prefer to just fill every moment. So I think that's one reason. I think the second is just like this fear to boredom. So it's not necessarily even always a fear, but we know that's a way we can go to enjoy ourselves, enjoy our time. Like, we know it's like a quick fix. We know it doesn't take any energy because it's completely passive. Yeah. So, especially like when we're tired and we just want to zone out, it's just like this quick fix, this passive activity where we just sit there and can just receive from something else. But I do think it has a number of negative effects. It's not like it's, either moral or immoral or amoral or even, but, like, I guess it is amoral. It just has, while it is amoral, I think there definitely are some negative effects. And the first one, I think, is just kind of, it can be numbing. We just want to fill the time, and so we fill it with these activities that aren't really necessarily meaningful. And so it can just feel kind of numbing after, or like if I play a lot of games in a row, I kind of notice that there's like this brain fog. There's like this cloudiness, like I'm kind of jittery. And we were chatting beforehand how, like, I could play games and then try to go to sleep after, but, like, I'm still kind of wiry. Or if you watch a lot of shows. I think the next thing is also there's like this anxiety as well, where we're so concerned with filling that time and finding the time, that I found moments where I'm looking through Netflix the next thing to watch, and I'm actually stressed out as I'm looking through it.
Yes.
It's ridiculous.
We've all been there.
I'm like stressed, like trying to find the next thing or trying to find the next audiobook. And I've literally spent hours like trying to find the next thing or the next article to binge. But even then, I think even as we're doing it, like, we want to find more from it than it's able to give us. And so it kind of leaves us feeling anxious.
Yeah.
And the way I describe that is just this idea that, like, when we think about different things in our lives, they do have some ability to satisfy. So, like, if you're hungry, food, it leaves you full. And of course you can binge food, you can overeat, but I mean, even with that said, like, food will fill us up. Or, the same for when we're thirsty, we can drink. Or even if we're tired, sleeping refreshes us. Or even sex, like an orgasm is like a climax where it's like a good ending point. But like, when you think of binging entertainment or TV or shows or even blogs, like, there's never that moment where it really satisfies us. Like, there's never that end goal. And so we're always left wanting more from it, but never having like any sort of culminating experience.
Yeah, there's no stopping point to it. Yeah,
exactly. And so I think it just leaves us really unrefreshed and kind of anxious as we're dealing with that. And so I'd love it if you could kind of speak a little bit more to that, Luke, though, of why you don't necessarily find it refreshing when you binge.
Yeah, I think I was thinking about this, and there seems to be sort of like an equation, not to oversimplify it, but it seems to be that, like, the amount of time plus the amount of personal investment sort of equals the amount of, like, enjoyment we actually get out of the thing. And, like, if we think about that, like, binge entertainment is typically short, and, like, our media goes to shorter and shorter mediums, and then we want to make it as easy to consume as possible. So, like, social media is probably the best example of that, right? There's minimal input. All you're doing is swiping, and it's endless, and you're consuming things that are just so small, whether that be a photo or a short video of, like, cats or something like that. And so I think there's something there, because, like, we can binge a book, but I don't feel as bad when I've binged a book as when I've binged a Netflix series. And I think that's because, like, there's more investment there and there's more time to it. So I do think that is some sort of way that the world is kind of working in the way that we exist, and, like, that meaningful enjoyment. And, like, we do desire to enjoy things in life, and we're limited, right, in all of our ways. Like, I can't stay up long enough to watch all the movies and shows and things I would like to do. Like, I have to go to sleep. We're limited in so many ways, except for what we want, except for what we desire. We as humans are constantly chasing after more and more. And I think that's part to who created us. I think God created us with infinite desires. I think it's is that in Ecclesiastes where it says that eternity was placed in the heart of man?
Yep, chapter 3.
Yeah, and I think that's so true.
Yeah.
And I think what we're doing is we're chasing after fulfillment in things of this world. We could binge anything, even not just binge entertainment, but we can binge good things. And it's all out of a desire to satiate this appetite we have that isn't meant to be fulfilled by anything other than God. And, like, God has given us good things to enjoy, but when we take them to excess, I think we really get into a spot where we're having those negative effects like you were talking about. And we're just putting off this need to confront ourselves, and then also to engage God and others in a meaningful way, rather than just kind of numbing ourselves with these things.
That makes sense. Well, join us next week as we kind of go into looking at a little different angle here of like, what actually is refreshing? Like, how can we take the time that we are dedicating to rest, the time where we want to unwind, but actually feel refreshed from it? Because I think both of us can agree that, like, when we binge, we don't ever feel refreshed afterwards.
Yeah.
So that's what we're looking at next week. And again, thanks for joining us today for 10 Minutes to Make a Difference. Hope you found it helpful or worthwhile. If you could leave us a comment, leave us a message, or reach out to us at villagechurchchicago.org with any questions you have. We'd love to hear back from you. So with that, we're signing off, and have a great week.